but we will start with one question that will be addressed to all of you, so you will be able to answer one by one. So the question goes, what in your opinion would be a good motivation for cities to start CDP reporting? And we would start with Catherine.
Oh, interesting. Well, I would be really interested to hear the other participants' answers, the other panelists' answers to this question. I've talked a lot about the different motivations, the different benefits of disclosure today. I think for me, the sort of overwhelming reason why I'm excited to work with cities reporting to CDP is because we are in a time of climate crisis, and I think that you know, we really need to come together and to understand that. And climate change is not an issue that we can tackle without everybody working together. And I think that reporting data and being part of a global initiative, trying to work together to advance collective action goals is a really effective way to start taking that action and to understand what they might need to do on climate change. So that would be my number one reason.
Okay, good. Then we move on to Juris and Gunther. What do you think would be the good motivation for the cities?
I think that the main motivation is that city environmental data collection reporting gives a good opportunity to start to think about climate adaptation mitigation activities. It's a good opportunity to start to collect all the latest information. And also, I think this CDP reporting provides an opportunity to analyze what you have done before. This is your, for example, for opportunities for the future. What are you doing right now? But what you can do, some steps in the future as well. I think it's a good starting point to collect data and to start to analyze your activities and to plan your future steps. That's it.
Didn't hear
Janos,
you.
what about you? What do you think?
I think it's very important to be visible, and also for cities to see where is your position, where you are positioned, and as Joris mentioned, I think it's very important that you need to find a good methodology, how to monitor your energy performance and your CO2 emissions. In that sense, it's very, very good to do so.
Okay, thank you. And Eira, what do you think is a good motivation for UBC cities too?
Oh, we can't hear you, Eira.
Yeah, you seem to be muted. Okay,
okay, so
now you.
Oh, I kept muting myself maybe again and again. But I think back in 2015, when Lahti started reporting in CDP, it was maybe like more internal. Of course, comparison to other cities was important, but the internal reasons, because the CDP made it very clear how important the adaptation measures are. And before that, we had mainly concentrated on climate change mitigation, but then the CDP reporting forced us to concentrate also the adaptation reporting. So that was the benefit of this. Why, maybe it was not why we started, but it was a benefit after starting reporting there.
Okay, that was a good question. Good answer to the good question. So let's continue with a couple more questions. So what do you see as the biggest obstacle to start CDP reporting for a city? So I don't know if Catherine wants to share her opinion, but we could ask from the cities as well.
I think let's ask from the cities. You know, they're on the side of this, and I'm sure have encountered obstacles in the past.
Let's hear from Juris, please. What were those hardest parts?
Actually, I think maybe the hardest part is maybe it's the beginning to realize, yes, how big is this question area? How much information do you need? How to organize all these activities, and how to start to do it? As I have mentioned, quite often when you start to do something new for the first time, you have a lot of challenges. But I think that also maybe from our own experience, after just 1 year experience, these challenges just go away. And right now, yes, we try to use a systemic approach more.
Good. Okay. What about Tartu?
I think it's a quite hard thing. This is to engage politicians and also public. It's not easy thing. I don't mean only workshops or such things, but I mean how to raise awareness of public, and this is quite crucial. And also for us, it was very hard to find proper data, and this data management and this part is still not perfect by now, but we are working quite hardly to get better as a system, and to be able to monitor basically in real time your situation is our aim, and this is what we are working at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, good. What about Lahti?
I must say it's a resource problem maybe for small and medium-sized cities, because in Lahti it's mainly just me, and this is and environmental reporting is only one part, small part of my work. So finding the time and finding the resources, but that Yuri's speech was very good, so I got tips. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that so much just by myself. So maybe involving more people. So yeah, so resources is an obstacle.
Okay, it's good to know all our relevant points that you brought out, all cities. I think that is something that we will have to address now with the second part of our questions and answers session that focus on sharing the best tips to a city, UBC city, that is maybe this year starting to disclose for the first time. What is the one concrete tip that you will give to that city? And from Juris, if you can start.
Yes.
What is the one concrete thing?
One concrete thing is to try, as I mentioned also, to try to use a systemic approach for this data collection and reporting, and actually try, for example, to make a folder and try doing all year to collect all information that somehow is related with environmental data. So through the year and trying to collect this data, it will help you when this date of the CDP reporting will come. So you will have the quantity of information, so you can go through and you can choose for each section and for each question it can help you. So I think step by step, but try to work a little bit during all year, and it will help you maybe to do all in time and to get maybe more success during the three months of preparing and reporting.
Thank you. That was a really good answer. What about Janusz?
I recommend to be as public as possible, and just create information and to engage private sector as much as possible. It makes things later a lot of easier.
Thank you. Eira?
And maybe involving politicians or having a political decision that we will do this. That will give some kind of backbone. And of course, second tip, you don't have to be perfect for the first time. So.
Yeah, I would definitely stress that we don't anticipate that the first time a city reports, they will be able to report, against 100% of the questions. I mean, maybe, but we would be surprised. It is a journey, and that's the way that the scoring system is set up, to kind of recognize that you start with just the fact of disposing at all and move forwards. And I think, it's been really interesting for me to hear from all of you about the kind of questions with engaging different stakeholders, because, one of the things that we do really hope is that the CDP Cities questionnaire and the reporting process is an opportunity for staff in maybe the environmental department or the energy department that think and grapple with these issues all the time to go out and talk to colleagues who maybe don't think of climate change or environmental issues as the first thing that's involved in their work, but nonetheless, who are going to be vital to actually ensuring a transition to a low carbon economy. So yeah, it's been great to hear all of you and your reflections on those pieces.
Right, thank you all. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask right now from each other, or from Catherine, or Catherine would like to address some of our keynote cities. So now's the chance to ask away. We still have a few more minutes to spare.
Well, I suppose so it's been really great kind of talking to all of you and getting your perspective on CDP reporting. And we've talked a bit about what you would say is the sort of benefit to a city disclosing for the first time. But I guess I would ask, what is the thing that you find you personally in your current role have found most useful with the reporting process? And then a second question kind of adding on to that, which is that, if there was something that you would ask us to do differently, what would it be?
In my opinion, answering on the first question, especially, and I think especially as for the first year, that maybe some questions, yes, create some difficulties. But after that also, and also after discussion with the colleagues, I have realized that CDP questionnaire is quite universal, and it's also oriented to the metropolis area, to the large cities, to the small towns, etc. So actually, I have learned from this that you do not afraid from the questions, but just try to fit CDP question exactly to your city boundaries, exactly to your environmental data collection practice, and exactly to your environmental data reporting practice as well. It's answer to the first question, and to the second, I will try maybe to organize somehow this process a little bit different, because, for example, for the first time when I was responsible for doing this, I think we start to do it at the end of May somehow, yes, and it was submission at I think in the middle of June or at the end of June. So it was necessary to do it quickly, and it was necessary to find out any information quickly. Yes, actually, I think the answer somehow, but to organize and to try maybe to do it during all the year, as I have mentioned, to keep to try to collect and to do step by step, so you know that this time will come. You just reserve these 3 months, and so you are trying just maybe to summarize all activities that you have done during the year.
Yeah, really interesting feedback, and of course I will take it on board where we can.
What about Janusz?
Yeah, I think it's important to do as much as you can, and don't be afraid. You can do next time more, and just just think about your shortcomings and try to improve them. And I think this is important to such a continuous development, and nobody is perfect, in my opinion.
Okay, Eira.
For the future, I think the connection between European Covenant of Mayors and this CDP cities must be thought better way, because we are reporting our Covenant of Mayors through CDP, but then Covenant of Mayors office was totally unaware of our climate actions, and it was very frustrating because I thought that yes, this time I don't have to report two systems, only one system, but then they are not really talking to each other.
Well, that's a really interesting issue to raise. I actually had a meeting with the EU Covenant Secretariat yesterday to talk about how we're going to address that problem. And I think we have kind of come up with some better approaches to sharing data between us. Yeah, I appreciate that that has been a kind of slower process that I think we all had hoped when we initially decided that we would, make it possible to report through either system. But definitely something that we're tackling now and hoping to really try and streamline for the coming year. So thanks for raising that, Eira.
Okay, thank you. So if none of you have any other questions, I think it's about time to close the webinar. Are there any more questions? No?
No, just thank you very much, Christina, for hosting us and moderating today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. And I would like to apologize for all the technical issues that we experienced. But once more, thank you, our city representatives, and Catherine, thank you all the participants for joining. And we would like to welcome you back next time, because the UBC Talks is a monthly webinar. And the next one will be coming on 28th of April on the topic of stormwater management. So please, registration is open now, so you can register, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.